Welcome back to Mark Haney, igniting the entrepreneurial revolution with the HaneyBiz Project.
Welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you by Hub International. I'm Mark Haney, and today I am here with Kim Silvers, the CEO and founder of Silvers HR. How you doing, Kim?
I am great, Mark. Good to see you.
Thank you for joining me on the show once again. I know you were one of our original guests. It's so cool to see you again. We know each other well, but for the people that might not know you yet, give us an idea who Kim Silvers is, and maybe talk to us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Sure. Well, real quickly, Kim Silvers is an HR nerd who has been in Sacramento for 30 plus years. I started a company after 20 years in a corporate gig, and we started Silvers HR in 2001. And we are the outsourced HR department backup for the management team for usually small to mid-size corporations, private sector. And my job is to help those business owners and managers, one, keep their employees, and two, stay out of court.
You know, it's interesting because you are an entrepreneur and you help entrepreneurs, so you can probably relate to their journey, right? Their path. It's not always easy, and I guess we when it comes to HR and regulation and compliance and things like that, it can be a little stressful at times. But I want to know about your journey a little bit. You said you come from corporate HR. What led into the entrepreneurial decision?
You know, I probably wouldn't describe myself as the entrepreneur. And certainly when I was in corporate, I would not have described myself as that. I was a really good corporate citizen. And after 20 years, I had worked my way up the ladder. I was really burned out on the endless meetings, the politics, the big lady clothes. And so our company was purchased and my stock options vested. And I said, I think I'll take my midlife crisis sabbatical and go figure it out.
You thought about retiring, instead not going to do it, and put out your shingle.
I did. What I did learn pretty quickly in that midlife crisis sabbatical is that I need to be busy. And so I took a year off. We built a house. I kind of ran that project and bugged the general contractor a lot. And then realized that it's no fun for me to be not working and not busy. So I will do this for a really long time.
And you built a really cool house 2 doors down from me. We became friends, and I never really knew. I knew you were in HR, but we never really had the time to talk about your business. Tell us about the journey, right? So back then, that would have been 2001. It sounds like you build the house and you're building a business at the same time. What did the journey look like?
So it started with me working from the den, and I was pretty sure people would just call and give me business, and pretty quickly realized that was not the case. And so I started marketing and, attending lots of events, lots of business journal events, to speak to David's appearance here. And then I realized that I didn't want to do all of the work. I really like the business development part, which I would never describe myself as a salesperson, but it was the challenge. And it was a measurable challenge. So I brought somebody on initially as an independent contractor. That was a long time ago, and we got more busy. And then a few years later, I bought another book of business, brought on another employee. There are now 6 of us. We're in the process of recruiting now, and we have really senior level professional HR consultants who work with employers.
Well, you said you're an outsourced HR business. What does that mean? We, as a business owner, how do we utilize your services? How does that work?
Well, usually an employer wants to make sure, first of all, in this great state that they're in compliance generally on the big things they're most vulnerable for. So we'll do HR practices reviews and walk through and do lots of training and coaching with them on what needs to be done, particularly around things like wage and hour laws here, around leaves of absence, and then we do a lot of work around performance management.
Okay.
And helping employers structure what good performance is like and how to measure that and how to incentivize people with that. And then the other side is when employees aren't performing, how does the manager either work that person into a better position
Yes.
or work them out.
Yeah.
And we take a lot of pride in our employers don't get sued very often if they follow our direction.
Well, I'm envisioning a lot of us small businesses, we can't afford yet to hire the HR guru, the person that has the education and really stays up on the changes in the laws. And so, but you do maybe have an office manager or somebody who's strong in overseeing sort of the team. And I could see you sort of replace the need to have to go out and get your degree in HR and get all this specialized training.
Yes, and because we're consultants, employers are paying about $10 a day for a senior level HR consultant who has 20 years of experience.
Wow.
And we're on call for them.
$10 a day, and I don't have to hire. My wife was an HR director for the city of Roseville for 20-something years, and I know she got paid more than $10 per day, and that blows me away.
Well, that's the way we work it, and our clients pay a flat fee, and then they get unlimited phone calls and emails. They have an assigned consultant, and we just want to make sure they call early. We get things underway, and we're not working in a crisis mode.
Well, we need places like Kim Silver's to keep us out of trouble. With the new tax, there's all kinds of changes to the tax code. We've been talking about that the last year as we plan for taxes. What should we be planning for in terms of changes in regulation as relates to HR?
Well, I think, the big one right now, and this is not just in California, is the Me Too movement and the sexual harassment claims in that. And California has been more sensitive to those things for a very long time. Larger companies are required to do minimum 2 hours of training for their managers every 2 years. But I would recommend that, if you have fewer than 50 employees, you don't wait until you hit employee number 50 before you do that sort of training. So I think employers need to be really sensitive about that, setting the company culture and what that says in terms of their behavior. There are some new laws out this year that are going to be a challenge for employers. Probably the biggest one is not being able to ask about criminal convictions.
Okay. In the recruitment process, on the job application, you can't ask if you've ever had a felony.
Right. So it's called Ban the Box.
Okay.
And San Francisco and LA have their own. Many states have laws around this now, but as of January 1st in California, you cannot ask anything about that. And then there is a very specific procedure in notice requirements to the candidate or the applicant if you get something back that's not favorable.
Well, how do employers feel about that new regulation? Have you talked to any of them yet?
I've talked to lots of them, and they're overwhelmed. They want to know early on. I certainly understand the basis for the law, but I think that for employers, it slows down the hiring process and makes it more difficult. For many years, we've had lots of laws federally as well as state around background check information, but this will certainly slow it down.
So, I mean, we talked about the new employment, the recruitment efforts, right? Sexual harassment, it's a hot issue. You talk about training. What else should employers be thinking when it comes to how to deal with possible sexual harassment issues? Because when they come up, I mean, your whole world must change. When that happens, it's like business comes to a screeching halt, especially if it's somebody in leadership that gets accused of something.
Well, and it quite often is, although we're seeing more and more in particular industries where it's peer-to-peer sort of harassment. It's not always sexual harassment.
Okay.
That's the sexy part of this news story we see in the press. But there certainly can be harassment about gender identity. Transgendered individuals now have many more protections in the state of California. It can be about religion. I mean, it can be around a laundry list of different categories. And so you're right. Things come to a screeching halt, and everybody is tiptoeing around. And employers have a legal obligation here now that if there is a complaint raised that they knew or that they should have known about, then they have to do an investigation. And it has to be done by an impartial, trained investigator. In California, that either has to be an in-house person or an attorney or a licensed private investigator. So there are a lot of checks that need to be done in that investigation, and it really can be difficult. And then probably the bigger financial liability for employers is after the investigation's done and the individual who filed the complaint or somebody who served as a witness says, I've been retaliated against because of that. And those are double damages usually.
Well, I can just imagine it's so stressful to have any kind of human resource claim, whether it might even be just an audit, a routine audit from workers' comp or something like that. And it's stressful. And so with you, I have to imagine, I know that I'm complying. I know I got a good heart. And with Kim Silvers and Silvers HR on my team, it's got to help people sleep a little bit better at night.
Oh, gosh, I hope so, Mark.
I love it. I want to thank you for what you do for the entrepreneurial community. You're obviously helping keep us from stepping on our own, on our own tail in many situations. But you also do so much at the Chamber of Commerce and in charity and in support of entrepreneurship, like the HaneyBiz Project. So I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate what you do.
You are absolutely welcome. It's an honor to be a part of this community and to participate in it.
That's great. Well, when we return, I will be rejoined by Marcus Haney. I have decided that I am going to make it a little bit more clear what the vision is, what the mission is for the HaneyBiz Project Radio Show. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of the Entrepreneurs Organization of Sacramento, law firm Greenberg Troy. This is the HaneyBiz Project.